postscript on the News on the March item we just wrapped up that last segment with. I'm looking at a headline from the Star Tribune, September 16th. Rollout of program to send mental health responders to some police calls delayed, and it lays out the reason that the official start date of the program has been pushed back to later this fall. And by the way, we have no idea when that's going to be later this fall. It's very open-ended. And there's a quote from a city spokesperson: due to the delay in finalizing signatures in the contract, obtaining unique insurance certificates, specific trainings, and extensive background checks were likely to start in November, which is, again, to the point of the letter writers, we wouldn't have to worry about all that because all that sort of infrastructure stuff, all those hurdles have already been cleared by the county. So it doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. The story also notes that the city's previous co-responders program that paired police officers with mental health counselors from Hennepin County has been inactive since last fall, primarily because the COVID-19 pandemic limited the county's ability to provide counselors. That, paired with low staffing within the department, resulted in the department reassigning its corresponder officers to other patrol duties, according to spokesperson. So if I have this right, what it means is since last fall, we've had nothing in place. There's basically been no mechanism by which, other than maybe in very extreme circumstances, that the police could be able to correspond with or coordinate with mental health individuals who are supposed to be part of the deal. How is anybody winning? This makes no sense. Other than if you're about the rhetoric and about we're going to change things and we're going to, because in this case, as you know, what the city council did is they diverted money that was previously going to the police to fund this program. And if the whole idea is to punish the police, then wouldn't there be better use of the money that you wouldn't need if you would continue to work with the Hennepin County system that's in place? And I'll say again, maybe there's something about it that is corrupt, that is why the city council is suspicious of it. I'll be glad to listen to that. I've got several emails from people who work in these emergency rooms, psychiatrists, etc., who are saying you're singing to the choir on this stuff. It's nonsensical. It doesn't, even if you have the best interest at heart of making things better and you're earnest about it, this isn't doing it. Because in effect, what it sounds like is for the better part of the last year, we've had nothing in place with the Hennepin County program being pseudo-suspended, and this program slated for some time when we can set up all the infrastructure that we need to set up. It's your government at work. It's your city at work. Meanwhile,
it's time for Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day.
Every Thursday, right around 4:30, unless Dan gets into something controversial at 4:15, then closer to 4:40. And funny, it's 4:41. Brought to you, as always, by Wedding.
And in this case,
Day
it wasn't emailers
Diamonds.
bitter. It was actually emailers confirming, and then my finding that original story, which I thought we couldn't leave out if we're trying to give this some proper context.
Thank you, Wedding Day Diamonds. Dr. Dan's Inbox every single week. Dear Dr. Dan, there's some turmoil in the front office as of late. For the record, I think S. Gupta is well suited for the job. He should have been running the show for years. Probably would have built a contender and kept the last coach. P.S. Denver has great weather. R. Saunders.
Yeah, I saw that note. R. Saunders hanging out with the Denver Nuggets coaching staff. Mike Malone, is he the head coach?
Yes, he is.
And as it turns out, I think Malone had spent some time. Flip had invited Malone many years ago to hang out with him in Minnesota. And Malone very graciously, I think, offering the same opportunity to Ryan, who I think knows him pretty well.
Yes.
And, Ryan, we haven't heard much from R. Saunders. I don't doubt, and I don't blame him if he is, at this moment, in the group of former Timberwolves officials who are enjoying a moment of schadenfreude. I wouldn't blame them at all. It's a very human reaction to see that they were gotten rid of, so to speak, and in some cases perhaps scapegoated, only to find out that things weren't quite as smooth behind the scenes as the people who were running this organization,
Not as collaborative.
from the owner to the president on down, tried to allege.
It's time for Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day.
Dear Dr. Dan, I know how important it is as a new owner to put your own stamp on a franchise. Apparently, they've gotten a head start on shaping this franchise in the T-Cities. Now that we have attempted to clean house, Now that we have attempted to clean house of the infidelity within the organization, do you think it's too late for me to turn this thing around? Sincerely, A. Rodriguez.
I'm not even sure I understand that one.
I'm not sure. Just talk about A-Rod.
A-Rod, well, Chad Abbott tried to call me into his office that he was being interviewed about something. I don't know, was it on ESPN or NBA TV or NBA Network? I don't know what it would have been. You're worrying me a little bit about this because I think...
You think I've lost myself in his eyes?
Yeah. I think you're a little too excited.
Yeah,
and
I know.
And believe me, I want to be, and I understand it.
I'm super fan.
Because I also think I get that, well, here's what we know. The current billionaire ownership has been a failure. So, to that extent, what do we have to lose? And you'd be right. And I have said that there's a chance that a different sort of, dare I use the buzzword, energy, might be created by these new folks. And maybe they have, perhaps their names will be big enough in their own world that they will attract other names here for big-time jobs that we otherwise wouldn't have a shot at. I don't rule that out. That's possible. Very possible. It's not a reason that makes a lot of sense to me, but sometimes it's surprising what moves people to say, "Oh yeah, A-Rod's part of that. I kind of get into that thing. I want to see where that might go. Yeah, I'll give that a shot, or I'll be interested in talking about a specific job running the team." And I still am convinced that their intent is to eventually clean house. The only thing that changes that, in Dr. Dan's eyes, would obviously a big jump. And then it's gravy, right? If it's a big jump, then you put that off and you say, well, it looks like it's working right now, and we'll play it out as long as we continue to feel like we're gaining, a measure of progress and are one step then closer to moving the team to Seattle.
Or Tolosa. Do you, to the charge of being an unapologetic fanboy who's lost myself in A-Rod's eyes,
Yeah.
I plead guilty.
I think more in his eyes than Tolosa boy's eyes.
Mark
no?
Glory's eyes, yeah.
That
I'm not
goes
sure
back
what it
to
is.
it's the athlete in him. It's the
I
athlete
think
in
that might
A-Rod.
be it. Well, and you saw, we showed the picture on Enough Said last Friday night. 7-year-old Guardsy at Timberwolves Breakfast Club. I've been there since day one.
Yeah, I know.
That 7-year-old, and I had a bad face.
You did.
I needed to change my face. I needed Ricky Rubio to tell me that.
We're getting right back to the start of the show. The chip on Karl Anthony Towns' shoulder is minute. It is miniature. It is tiny. It's microscopic compared to the chip on little Guardsy's shoulder that goes all the way. You could already see on your face at the age of 9.
I know. 7 years old.
Think about
what
it.
would you tell 7-year-old Guardsy at that moment when my dad, who I'm sure took me down there to Target Center, took the picture of me there?
Do you want lies or do you want tough love?
I want tough love.
I would say, little Guardsy, there is no Santa Claus. That's what I told little Guardsy.
Well, I was thinking you could say maybe you should go cheer for the North Stars, but then they left 4 years later.
That's also true.
So there's nothing to tell little Guardsy. No, what you tell little Guardsy is the Twins are about to win a title. Enjoy the hell out of it, buddy, because you might not ever see anything like it again.
Are there any hockey letters this week?
There are not. Not at the moment.
A very angry member of the hockey community reminding us that we are not the Wolves station. We are the Minnesota Wild station. They've
they have a
already
game
played
tonight.
a preseason game.
Okay.
And all we're doing is talking about Cat. Very, very bitter. You know how the hockey fans get extremely possessive.
Yeah.
My comeback to that would be nothing's happened yet. If you give me a story.
Like Kaprizov signing?
Yeah, which we might have mentioned once or twice.
A little bit with the general manager.
Or even give me a talkable story, like the Cat comments about the boulder on, the chip on his shoulder, then we'll bounce off it. We like bouncing off stuff when it's there. We're not all that interested in inventing stuff, and I don't think there's another story, to bounce off of yet. We'll get there. There's going to be plenty of hockey stuff. Louis will be back. Russo will be back. Russo never left.
No, he didn't.
In all honesty.
No, he didn't.
And Louis barely left. We just try to give them a little bit of time. We just had Bill Guerin on, for God's sake. What do you want? Hockey community.
Minnesota Duluth doesn't play tonight, do they?
They probably
I'm guessing they open because I think the Gophers open
probably
this weekend.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll mention that in the top 5. Otherwise, hell hath no fury like a Bulldog fan scorn.
We've learned that the hard way.
It's time for Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day.
Dear Dr. Dan, are you having a great day, Dr. Dan? Everything must be great when you have Kay Cousins as your team's quarterback. I mean, he's a killer out there in the field. I've rarely seen a quarterback who leads a team the way he does. I mean, I've heard there's an area in Minneapolis, somewhere near the Stone Arch Bridge, so maybe St. Paul, where they have Cousins condos. Wow. I would love to live there. He's an MVP candidate. I just have one question for you. Do you think when your NFL claim to fame is the butt fumble, you may have set too low of a bar for quarterback play? M. Sanchez.
We don't have him again this week, do we?
No, we've got.
Is that a Fox game?
We've got Kevin Harlan.
We do?
And
it's
somebody
a
else.
CBS game.
Yep.
That's the distinction.
Yeah, because the Browns are here.
That's right, the Browns. Yeah, it's hard to follow the rules anymore. They've kind of mixed and matched them. Nothing personal on M. Sanchez. And I got some pushback from some people who absolutely adored him. They thought he was outstanding. And I didn't think everything he said was awful.
No.
But it's... You know, when you let's be honest, if you watch a game start to finish, you're spending a lot of time with the announcers if you have the TV turned up, right?
You are.
And to that extent, I think it can be inspirational, it can be entertaining, and it can just be downright deflating or tiresome. I got worn down by him. By the end of the game, I was ready to turn down the sound. Problem is, if I turn on the project, PA, I don't think it's still timed right based on the fact I got DirecTV, and then you get all screwed up, and either you find out the play, what happens on the play before the play is shown on TV.
It gets complicated.
And then I get very confused.
Yeah, we don't need you confused. That's
not any more than I already am.
Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day.
Dear Dr. Dan, 9/26/2021. Chicago Sky 89, Minnesota Lynx 76.
Ooh.
When updating your Minnesota calendar of calamity, please do not overlook us. I realize when M Gophers lose as a 31-point favorite, it would be easy to get lost in the shuffle of the weekend, but I feel like we deserve to be part of the COC. Going 17-3 over our last 20 games and staring down a fifth title laying an egg is certainly COC worthy. Thank you for your consideration, C. Reeve.
C. Reeve. Interesting.
Wants to be
Haven't heard
included
from
on
her
the
in a while.
calamity.
Yeah.
Minnesota's got to get that down. 9/26/21.
Bad loss. You and I have talked about it. It's, I think, been alibied away. I think Fargo Flash say, hey, look, wasn't a good loss, but it's best of one. And that's, and the players might have been a little bit distracted, and then Lieber destroyed them on the Power Trip Morning Show, I'm told. No, I mean, it was part of it, I think, is it comes and goes so fast, and you got so many other things going on. They're playing the game while the Vikings are playing the Seahawks, right? In fact, we talked to Cheryl about that. She wasn't delighted that it was going to be on at the same time because they wanted, tickets, folks to go to the game. As it is, it still looked like they didn't have they had an okay crowd.
Oh, yeah. They always do.
No, it's a bad loss. Basketball playoffs, I think, the WNBA is in a tough bind, I think, because, in all honesty, if you're going to be truly big league, there should be no such thing to me as best of one, other than maybe those play-in kinds of things, which even the NBA has messed with.
They just did last year,
But if you're a 3 seed, it shouldn't be best of one. On the other hand, it's, you know what the rules are. You're at home, and you lay a prodigious egg, and you weren't really even that competitive. You cut it to 4 briefly in the fourth quarter, but then the lead ballooned back up almost immediately, and so you weren't even in it down the stretch. So I don't want to let them off the hook, but I do think, and I know, again, it's about TV and about money and all that, best of one in basketball makes no more sense than best of one in hockey, I would say, when it comes especially to teams who are allegedly going to be rewarded for having a decently high seed. Now, we've profited, the Lynx have profited from short series as well, right? There's no question
And
about that.
getting double buys
Plays both ways
in
and
the past.
double buys, the whole thing. It was Dr. Dan was very disappointed with the performance. It should not be just written off. It should be acknowledged. It should be ripped, and there should be accountability for it.
It's time for Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Oh, we get letters.
You're really going to have to listen to this one. It's
Closely.
It's word salady.
All right?
Dear Dr. Dan, please pass this unique business opportunity along to your micro niche target market listeners. Are you a dynamic change maker? Can you be the force multiplier that moves our management team to the next level of competitive synergy? If the answer to those questions is yes, or even maybe, we want to talk with you about an exciting lifestyle career possibility in the elite world of athletic experience curation. As our high-performance organization faces a leadership transition opportunity, we've assured our valued season ticket partners that we will effort to do things the right way in reloading our talent crucible. If you are that one
Talent
lone
crucible, you say.
crucible, yeah. If you are that one lone spark wanting to create an explosion of cultural accountability and arousal-inducing excellence and want to avoid any unnecessary vetting through middleman search consultants, please dial G. Taylor's direct line today. Put your name in a hat. Literally, we have a hat with names in it.
Can I, before you say who that's from, can I do the soothsayer thing and tell you who I assume this has to be coming from?
Who's that?
E. Casson.
I would say by proxy, it's from the M. Timberwolves.
Okay.
So I would say,
It should have been written by, if it sure as hell sounds like it could come right from him.
I think that's why.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. The next P of B operations, yours in sustained mediocrity, M. Timberwolves.
I would say that is as good a distillation of what ails the M. Timberwolves as any that I have heard. And I hope that lesson gets, I dare it won't, but I hope that lesson comes through loud and clear. We talked about it the other day. Telosa's wonderful.
Yeah.
Telosa's a great, noble idea. 3 core principles is wonderful. All it comes down to is hiring and drafting and signing the right people. And obviously, if you hire the right person to
Yep.
run your team, then one would presume then you're going to get those other things taken care of. It's as literally as simple as that. And I don't give a damn if the guy or gal who does that is interested in only 1.5 of the 3 core values or despises all 3 of the core values. The core value that matters here now and for a long time is winning some basketball games.
I would direct people back to the Monday podcast if you'd like to hear Dan a little bit more animated about that, right around the top 5 at 5, where I think my favorite line of the rant was they don't care about the values. They care about getting a power forward that you can play next to Cat.
Well,
It's time for
The truth cannot be
might
controversial.
Might not need one now, though. Cat's pissed. He's hot right now. He's bitter. God, I hope it's true.
Dear Dr. Dan, when you're the head coach, you've got to be careful. You can't let other coaches, B. Belichick comes to mind, or players find out your game plans, especially when you are running a kick-ass offense. Loose lips sink ships, Dr. Dan. So do I think B. Lieber leaked team information to the press? Of course not. But did you hear how hot and bothered he got? All part of my plan, Dr. Dan. Now the real leaker will let his guard down, and I'll finally be able to catch him red-handed. I'm fueling up the jet to Hattiesburg because I feel like it might be one B. Favre. Sincerely, B. Childress. Not to be confused.
Oh, you got more than one?
That's what I love about the inbox. We got 2 more.
2 more B. Childresses?
And I feel like topic of the day,
Yeah.
you pull it together
No doubt.
in this tight window. You deserve to
You
get the
should
letter
be
to be
rewarded,
read.
is what you're saying, yes.
Dear Dr. Dan, allow me to begin by saying the audio version of this letter featuring my low, gravelly, sultry voice would sound much better if I were reading it. But as they say in the cliched world of coaching, it is what it is. As you might know, I've reinvented myself as something of a coach whisperer, imparting my wisdom only to those who are smart enough to accept it. This morning, a seemingly ubiquitous former player of mine, B. Lieber, denied undermining our mission by referring to a schism in our locker room, but I know he did, and that's a fact. And if B. Lieber wants to meet mano a mano, man to man, let me warn the bourbon bozo that much like my offense, I also kick ass. Dr. Dan, why can't people simply live in the present as opposed to rehashing what's happened in the past? B. Childress. Dear Dr. Dan, somebody over there at the station has got to stop B. Lieber. The guy's a runaway freight train right now. Oh, and if it wasn't for his horrendous pass interference in the NFC title game against the Saints, I would be a Super Bowl winning coach and hunting with B. Favre at his ranch and some comfy Wranglers.
Wow.
B. Childress.
That's pretty good. Those are all very good. Very well done. Is there a fourth one?
No, I just
B.
wanted
Childress
to
related?
Not really.
Yeah, those were all very good.
Speaking of B.
Is
Lieber
it possible?
versus The Flash,
Yeah.
I went back to try to listen.
Yeah. Is it been sensationalized?
No, they went at each other. It's kind of being sensationalized, but it was such a lengthy.
Oh.
They argued about like 4 things, including toaster strudels from General Mills.
Okay.
And then Ron Johnson was there. He kind of got in the middle of it. Like it's a little. It was difficult to get a good
to edit.
because I listened to it during Salisbury. It was like 8 minutes from
okay.
start to finish.
All right.
But people can go back and listen if they want.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe I'm missing something. Is it possible B. Childress has a point? Is it possible the degree to which B. Lieber has responded is that Chili struck a nerve? Did, in that way, B. Lieber out himself just a bit?
Interesting.
Maybe we'll have to ask him next month on Monday. So many things we're going to have to get to with him on Monday.
I know. We're going to need maybe a couple segments.
It's endless.
It's going to be ridiculous.
All right, that's it for
Yeah, we got to go.
very good version
We're
of
out
the
at
inbox.
6. We got the big knocker coming up at 5:15.
Top 5 at 5. I'm hoping we'll include a little more about the NBA policy when it comes to vaccinations involving players.
Oh,
'Cause
wow.
I got something I want to run by you on
Okay,
that.
we can bring that up. It's also one of my favorite days of the year. The NFL Super Bowl halftime show has been announced. We can play the game. How bad will Dan rip it? How annoyed will Dan be? And also,
How annoyed will Dan B be?
Dan B be? And will Guardsy need to do GetRoman.com ads anymore after this Super Bowl halftime announcement?
Oh,
I say no.
I'm intrigued.
Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barrero on The Fan.